The Day of the Jack-Up is the 8th episode of season 37 of The Simpsons. This is directed by Mike Frank Polcino, and as always there will be spoilers from now as I go through the episode chronologically and share some thoughts. In general, I did like this one. It was quite dramatic. I had no idea where it was going. There is a question that I had that probably says more about my lack of knowledge of a certain situation than it does the episode, and if anybody can answer that question, I'd love to know more information. It's possible I missed something, but we'll talk about that when we get there. It starts off with Burns creating the Circulus, this venue, and Lisa's favourite K-pop band are going to be performing there, and Homer is sitting with Lisa to buy the tickets. It's really exciting. The second the clock counts down and they go on sale, everything is sold out. And I feel like this is such a topical issue. Not that it's the first time The Simpsons have addressed something topical, but I feel like people are getting more and more and more fed up of people buying tickets to then resell them. And I know a lot of venues and companies are finding ways to stop that from happening, but of course it still happens. And I think that it's doing a good thing of addressing this topic, and it's something that a lot of people find really frustrating. And we find out that a character called Seat Miser bought them all and is now selling the tickets for $2,000. And there's a town hall meeting because everybody's annoyed by this, and Homer's really upset that he wasn't able to get Lisa those tickets as he promised. And I thought that was really, really sweet, because obviously Homer doesn't care about seeing this K-pop band, but he really wanted to do this for Lisa. And I thought that was a really nice side of Homer. And he bumps into Otto, and Otto sells him some tickets. I think this was a really good thing for two reasons. One, it means they get to go to the concert, and we'll talk more about that in a moment. And two, it makes us believe that Otto had something to do with this. But did he? Well, perhaps he did. But we do find out some pretty interesting information, I'd say pretty quickly, because they go to the venue, they go to the concert, and Bart is at the I think they called it the swag stand, the merchandise stand, and he finds out that the police are there to catch Seat Miser, and we find out basically immediately that it's Bart. Nobody else knows this, of course, but we, the viewer, know that it's Bart. And I genuinely didn't see that coming. I had no idea that it was Bart. And this is where my first question happened, or I guess my main question. And we maybe get an answer later on, but I'm not knowledgeable enough to know if that's the case. So if anybody can give me any information, please feel free to do so, because my question was, how did Bart manage to afford all of those tickets in the first place to then be able to sell them on? And I'll elaborate on that in a minute. And as I said, we maybe get an answer, but I'm really not too sure, based purely on my own lack of knowledge of how this works. And then Bart realizes they're going to catch him, and he tries to evade the police for a good few minutes, a decent chunk of time. He travels around the venue and backstage in different locations as they're chasing after him, and it was quite intense and really well done. And for a few minutes, I honestly thought this was really fabulous, and I really thoroughly enjoyed it because I had no idea what was going to happen. And we get to the end of the concert, they still haven't caught him, so they're all lining up to go outside, and they have established that it's a kid. A child is Seat Miser, but they don't know anything else. So they make all of the children line up to exit the venue, and they'd found the phone. Bart tried to flush his phone, but they found it, so they figured whoever's face unlocked the phone must be Seat Miser, which I have to say is pretty clever, and also makes me concerned that they've just given away a secret of how they might try and catch somebody doing something similar, because now anybody who is in the same situation as Bart is going to make sure their face doesn't unlock their phone, because it could get them into some, well, a sticky situation, as we see with Bart. And again, it was really quite intense as they're all lining up, and we have a quite nice moment between Bart and Lisa. Lisa worked out that it was Bart, which I have to say I'm not really buying into. I don't believe that Lisa would have worked it out. That part of the narrative I don't think was believable. But then the rest of it I didn't think was very believable either, because ultimately Bart had set up, as he explains to Lisa, or I guess Lisa explained to him that she'd figured it out, he'd set up some code using Cheat GPT to set up this ticket racket. And that could answer my question of how he afforded it. Does that mean that he was able to purchase those tickets without payment? Is that what that does? I have genuinely no idea, and I'm asking for that information. Or would they still have to pay for the ticket? It's just a way for them to be able to purchase them all. Obviously, ordinarily, you're not going to be able to just log on to Ticketmaster or whatever and purchase everything. So I don't know. If it is the case that this ticket racket, this code, allowed him to purchase everything without payment, if that makes sense, then okay. If that's not the case, then how did Bart get the money? So I would have liked a little bit more explanation from the episode, but at the same time, I don't want the episode to be giving away too much information to then inspire somebody to go and do the same thing. So I can also understand why they didn't give away too much. Basically, I think it's my fault that I'm a little bit confused about how Bart was able to do this, and that meant that I'm slightly struggling to buy into the story and Bart's ability to do this. But at the same time, we know that it happens, so certainly it's not impossible. And they line up and they get to the front of the queue, and Bart's phone is put in front of him, and his face doesn't unlock it. And I was really confused. And then at the very end, we learn that his butt actually unlocks his phone, which I believe that would be a Bart thing to do. But also, why does a 10-year-old have this phone to begin with? I don't necessarily think that Bart should have this phone, but then again, I don't think he should be doing anything that he was doing in this episode. So I do think there is quite a bit of suspension of disbelief needed to be able to enjoy this and follow this. But as I said, there was a lot of suspense in it. I really enjoyed the story, despite the fact that certain aspects of it didn't necessarily make the most sense to me. I rather enjoyed it. It was good fun. I don't know if we'll ever see the circulus again. Maybe we will, but certainly the venue was great, decent animation, a nice, well-written narrative, even if I didn't fully believe all of it. And ultimately, I thought the day of the jack-up was not a bad episode.